Welcome to Sunday Investing, and we have Mr. Abhishek Chopra, who is the whole-time director of Safety Controls and Devices Limited. How are you, sir?
All well, how are you?
All fine, sir. I hope you are enjoying, the markets currently and opening, taking the courtesy of opening the IPO session for the FY 27.
It is definitely thrilling, I would say that.
So before going into much into business, I would like to understand what is your kind of a background and what kind of an idea stuck in कि मुझे safety controls company को start करना है. So what was your initial story about this company?
So I'm currently the third generation into my family business, and the background that I hold MSc in international business. So
Hmm.
right from my career, I had known that I'll be joining my father's business, and I was quite eager as a child.
And so मतलब यही business model क्यों choose किया? Is there some kind of a backstory for this?
So if you look at our order book, we've been diversifying. So we started off with fire protection, and later on in 2004 we diversified into substations. And when I joined in 2019, we diversified into solar as well as EV charging stations as well. So now we are into the renewable energy as well, and we
Got
also aim in the coming future we'll be stepping into hydrogen battery energy storage system. It'll be a whole new plethora in renewable energy.
So this would be, going into the best batteries or doing the whole complete EPC and all this. मतलब क्या kind of क्या segment अपन target कर रहे हैं in this?
So everything will be on EPC model, and substation has been a forte. And if you look at our figures, financial figures, they have that sector has been the most revenue churning for us in the company. So substation will definitely remain the forte and the main focus for us to go forward.
Got it. So now let's come on the business model. So you just explain मतलब आपका products क्या क्या है, service क्या क्या है, and what kind of capabilities our company has.
Okay. So the current sectors that we are working on, we started off with fire protection, like I told you. Then later on in 2004, we diversified into substations. Later on, we diversified into renewable energy. And then the most recent diversification is the construction business. We are doing some construction of 50-bedded hospitals with the Ayush, the scheme that was floated by PMO. So this is what the sectors are we are currently working in.
Okay. So what kind of a revenue breakup, our company has from the various verticals? Like just give me the breakdown of the revenue for substations or the solar plants or firefighting equipments and the hospitals.
Sure. Sure. So majority is through substations, which is you can say approximately 80%, more than 80%. And the remaining 10% would be from the construction jobs of Ayush under the scheme of Ayush, and remaining 10% would account with fire protection.
Okay, cool. So like जितना मैं समझ पा रहा हूँ अब majority business should be coming from the government institutions or the PSU. So what kind of a split we have currently between government and private players, and can you just name some of your clients in both these
Of
segments?
course. So 95% of the order book that is generated is through tendering system with various government clients. Of late, we've shifted our focus towards central PSUs. PSUs, the current order book that I'm holding with clients like NTPC, REL, Power Grid. There's even BHEL, and in the state utility we have UPPTCL. In Bihar, there's a transmission company by name of BSPTCL. So there are a lot of clients that you're involved with, state as well as central PSUs.
Any private players?
Private players would be especially in the fire protection system, only in that sector, not in substations or any major job. For example, there are private hospitals in our city where we are headquartered at. So we are doing some fire protection jobs for the hospitals, for the hotels, and there are many industries.
So can you
Like there's
explain
an
what
eye
exactly we are
center.
doing in the fire protection systems?
So we design, engineer, and then we procure it from the market. and we have an installation team who does it for us. Everything is in house.
Got
We just need to procure material. Same line of businesses with substation as well. The same procurement method, designing method. We have a in-house designing team, procurement team.
got it. So what kind of an order book are we currently sitting on?
We are currently sitting on around 590 crores, and
Not
out of which the unexecuted would be around 300 350 crores. The unexecuted part, which was recently been awarded to us.
okay. So this is a single pro order if I'm getting it. ये जो नया ऑर्डर ये बड़ा सिंगल ऑर्डर है.
These are all the orders. 590 crores has all the orders right from
Hmm.
Jan 25, you can say.
Got it, got it. And what has been our historical executional timeline for this order book?
So these are all mostly, like I told you, these are all substation jobs.
Hmm.
Almost approximately around 100 crores, depending from client to client. This would somewhere be around 24 to 36 months on an average, 2 to 3 years.
Got it. And like generally like a normal company in the similar segment अपना ये middle of the year या फिर कह लो near this September October November region ये अपना order book mostly build up होता होगा ना. It must be the bidding
That's
process.
right. That's right. So, for example, मेरा आज भी as on date, I have a bidding pipeline of about 290 crores, which is yet to be evaluated, which is under technical evaluations and all that. It is my bids are already submitted with the respective clients.
Okay. And we would be starting bidding in generally the mid of this year or Q1 of the financial year, and then we would get the awards of the contracts in maybe the second half of the year kind of.
Yeah, that is what I'm telling you.
Huh.
Approx 200 crores were tenders we've already submitted for, and we're
Hmm.
just waiting for the evaluation. And in any given point of time, we are qualifying for tenders worth thousand crores pan India. But since working capital is something that I need to be careful of, so that's why we're keeping our hands slow.
I was coming on the working capital part. So, so we are raising currently the 48 crore as a primary raise from the IPO, completely a fresh issue. So, what are the major objectives of our IPO?
So the majority would go in loan repayments, like 6 to 8 crores, I mean, and the remaining part would be used for working capital,
Got it.
for which we are in dire need, so that we can diversify with time.
So, this working capital deployment would be in how much phases? Like FY 27 में होगा, 28 में होगा. मतलब कितना उसका कैसा split है as per the financial? The first part and second is, what kind of a potential we can have post the working capital gets infused in the business.
So working capital begins for me right from submitting my tender security, EMD, as you can say. And then if I'm lucky to get it, it'll be transferred into performance security, which will be of approximately 10% of the contract value.
Mm-hmm.
So as and when I keep bagging tenders, this is what working capital is going to help me. First, working capital will help me in bagging tenders. Once those contracts are bagged, I'll be going forward with the procurement. So there are many OEMs like Siemens, Hitachi Energy, Crompton. They all work with LCs. All of the OEMs work with LCs. I'll then be opening LCs to them, and then my material will be in the pipeline, for which I'll be able to bill and get my turnovers right on track.
So major अपना जितना revenue आता है, so majority of the orders are backed on our own name, or it is kind of an subcontracting also we do for the larger players.
No. It's direct. It's
It's
direct through
direct.
the
It is nothing
company.
kind of subcontracting type of a
No.
business.
Otherwise, I would have told you my private clients. These are all
Correct,
government
correct.
clients.
Yep. So now coming on your numbers, so FY 23 to FY 24 are more or less flat. Okay, it was a small degrowth, but in FY 25
Hmm.
we saw some 120 percentage growth. So and also the first 10 months, we have seen like 68 crore kind of a top line. So I'm assuming कि अपना जो Q4 रहेगा of the financial year, that should be fairly large. So two things. First is what are the sustainable revenue growth numbers we're looking at first, and second is what is our Q4 revenue contribution to the whole financial year in on the historical part and also on the current part.
So I would like to say, as on date, we'll be able to clock about 120 crores for this financial year, March ending. And for the next financial year, we are aiming at least 200 at the very least, given the order book, which is quite strong for us. And as you were comparing with FY23, as you would be aware, most of the companies had a severe turnover dip during back that time
Hmm.
because they were just coming up from COVID, this thing, the brunt of the COVID. So I believe we did fairly well. I mean, we've reached back to our normal levels of 100 plus CR. We clocked 102 crores in last financial year. Now we are targeting 120. So growth is definitely there. Why? Because we've diversified so much into so many sectors, right from substations to renewable energies, and fire protection is always there. That is where we began.
So, off late, I have seen lot of companies entering into this segment. If it's a normal infra company, see, they feel ki, the margins in this particular segment are quite high, so let's just go and do a business. So, any kind of a, we have seen a slowdown. मतलब अब margin के level पे थोड़ा बहुत competition बढ़ा होगा off late. So, any kind of an experience you have on this end?
Margins have definitely gone down. Competition has definitely been fierce in the past couple of years. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful in one phase where my company holds such technical credentials that only the MNCs are able to compete in some tenders, not in every tender. So if I give you a direct example of these order books that I've bagged, like 400 kV substations. Uh, Amounting to more than 100 crores. Some are amounting to around 150 crores. So the competition that I'm facing there is through MNCs like Tata, L&T Power, even Amar Raja. So as you can see, we have a pretty good this thing. We have an upper hedge in the costing part.
So as you said, the margins, have थोड़ा बहुत दिखा है कि erosion हो रहा है, but I've seen our company's margins have spiked up quite well. So 16 to 18%
Definitely,
range was in FY24 and 25, but the first 9 months or 10 months we have seen 24% odd EBITDA margin. So two
that's
things.
right.
So like first I can see is कि earlier the substation used to be the 80% kind of a revenue contributor till FY24, but the power projects in FY25 have taken a front seat to 65%. So I'm assuming
That's
this
right.
change in the product line would have led to the expansion in margins. But what kind of a typical margins we are looking, which are sustainable in nature in the given future?
Okay, so all these contracts that I've bagged, they are having a PV clause, a price variation clause, which is governed by EMA. So I'm pretty comfortable in that. My margins will be intact. So all these variations, they are dependent on copper, conductor, aluminium, transformers, which is the most critical part. So I'm by God's grace, I'm cushioned.
I was even coming on this part, of late I've been also talking to a lot of companies in various segments. Transformer wala banda bol raha hai, we don't have insulators there. The core person is saying कि ovens are not working. There's a raw material
Hmm.
concern. जो copper aluminum cleaning का जो material रहता है that वो import बंद हो गया. So we have seen some kind of a supply chain issue from last, I would say, 1 month, and it is going to also come
Definitely.
another 1 2 months. मतलब Q1 बहुत ही खराब आने वाला है सबका. That is,
Agreed.
but what kind of a measures are we taking? Because end of the day थोड़ा बहुत hit तो अपने books पे आना ही आना है. Price variance cost कितना भी हो, थोड़ा बहुत चीज आ ही जाता है books पे. So like this 20 to 25% EBITDA margin mark is sustainable even considering that, if I'm getting it correct.
Definitely it is. Why? Because I agree there is a shortage. We are definitely in a sort of a force majeure condition. It is not exactly a force majeure condition, but it is not. There is not an acute shortage.
Hmm.
Everybody was panicking to get petrol and diesel at the middle of the night. There is definitely a shortage, but not an acute one. So
Hmm.
there's no this is not the time for us to get fidgety with all these things. Plus, the order book that I got was the majority order book was dating back to January 25. So I am currently in a place where I've already confirmed all my purchase orders to all these OEMs. The OEMs also include transformer manufacturers like T&R, Transformers and Rectifiers India Limited, which is one of the key players in the market today. And then Siemens, of course, Siemens Energy. Then there's Hitachi Energy. There's Crompton Greaves. So I have already given my purchase orders more than a year ago. What we did was we did the designing part we did the designing and engineering part, the civil works, obviously. And now when I start getting manufacturing clearances from my clients, I'll be passing on to them.
Got So, I was seeing, your trade receivables, they appear to be elevated, frankly. Matlab in FY25, I've seen 102 crore-ish top line ke samne there was like 87 crore odd receivables. So, two things here. First is what are our typical receivable days, and second is are we taking any kind of a measures to bring this number down?
Sure. So all of my clients, like if you compare NTPC or Power Grid also, which are central PSUs, and they have one of the best payment terms in the country, even they also hold retentions. So, for example, if I'm raising an invoice of about 100%, I don't get the 100%. I Some places I get 80%. At some places I get 60%. But invoice value I have to raise in full, right? I can't raise the exact 60% amount. So all of these clients have a milestone based payment. So once I supply material, they'll release around 80% of the invoice. Had this been a state utility, they would have been releasing around 65% of the supply part. So there's a major gap, which is the reason why we shifted our focus towards central PSUs of late, which was about year 2 years ago.
Correct. Because sir, off late, we have also been talking to the companies. There are many companies, especially in the water EPC segment, जैसे कि specific XYZ state का ना यार जब से government change हुआ है payment बड़ा delay हो रहा है. So and even two more states have started some issues from last 2 months. You must be well aware. So what are the key states are we focusing upon currently? And अपना central PSUs and state PSUs का क्या split रहेगा around?
अगर रेशियो में बात करूं तो around 70% is with PSUs, central PSUs. These are just rough estimate figures that I'm telling you. But yes, more than half of it is with PSUs. However, since we are headquartered here in Lucknow, city in Uttar Pradesh, we we are still working with the UPPTCL. It's not like we've totally given up on the state utilities. And we've worked in Bihar before, BSPTCL. They've been an absolutely amazing client to us. Even Uttarakhand, Pitkul Power Transmission Company Limited. So there are state utilities, but there are central PSUs. So for the state utilities, their hands are tied. They are not giving me price variation. But the central PSUs are like NTPC, Power Grid. They are giving me price variation. So these are some small differences which, at the end of the day, matter a lot.
So what are our like on the trade receivable days खाली वो number I haven't got it. कितना receivable days है अपना?
The receivable cycle would be somewhere around 45 to 60 days.
Okay. Okay. Include मतलब complete I'm saying मतलब from starting the work to the payment
From raising the
of
invoice.
raising the invoice it is 45. Okay. So
Yeah,
this should have surely elevated our working capital requirements going forward also.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. So on this hospital wala stuff I was seeing कि so is this business a one-time business or we are looking to even expand further on this Ayush led hospitals business also? Because I'm seeing वो बड़ा volatile चल रहा है. पर 25 में revenue था, earlier नहीं था, अभी फिर से बहुत diminishing trend में. So what are the developments you're looking on this vertical especially?
So these are four jobs under Ayush. They're all 50 bedded each with
Hmm.
a state utility again. They'll be approximately around 8 crore, 7 to 8 crore each. The problem was we backed these construction tenders back in 2023, and we've been working on as and when we got the land, we got the green signal to work ahead, we got the letters to start the proceeding of work, contract agreements are signed. And like I said again, that was the time when we had just faced the brunt of COVID. So everybody was working on a like 50% capacity, you can say. So as and when I'm getting the area to work at, we are working. So construction of Ayush hospitals is like one of the recent diversification. Since we are building so many control room buildings. There's a heavy civil work involved in all these substations. We were able to qualify for these tenders. And like I said, substations will always remain the forte to us. It will remain a key and main focus, even tomorrow, even years after.
So are the margins lucrative in this Ayush scheme?
It's a construction job, not much. Like especially if I compare it with the substation business, not much at all. But
Okay,
on an average, everything goes well, 10 to 12%.
EBITDA.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. So, before letting you go, any final message you would like to leave for your potential shareholders?
So we've come a long way, and as you can see, our order book, we have recently diversified into Rail Vikas Nigam Limited as well. Even though this is a first of its kind for our company, but it's a huge substation order for us, being the first for our company. It's a traction substation, and like we've diversified into NTPC, we've diversified into RVNL. We are keeping our fingers crossed for this diversification and going up with everybody's blessings.
Thank you, sir, for your time and wishing you all the best for your upcoming IPO. Hope the first IPO of the new financial year, brings the smiles on the faces of new investors.
Thank you so much. Fingers crossed.
Thank you.